Two lovely, wet women in their 20s claim to be lost and knock on the door. He had no idea how assisting these helpless animals would influence him. Your thoughts and opinions on the film are much anticipated. The film's title appears at the very end of the video. Here we go. The home of architect Evan Weber and his wife Karen is where the film's events start to take place. She is kissing her husband in front of a gallery of breathtaking artwork that fills the room. To enhance his appearance, Karen recommends that he get a short haircut. On this Father's Day, Jack and Lisa burst into the room to congratulate Evan. After considering the children, the hero opens the gift. Once the kids are in bed, Evan pops the question to his wife, suggesting that she carry on the business she began. However, the woman disputes this, claiming that she is extremely busy with the exhibition and that the kids are wide awake. While having breakfast, Lisa inquires as to why they are unable to bring Marty Skin to the beach. To keep him from being bored over the weekend, Karen says he must stay with Evan. Louise enters the kitchen with Karen's portfolio in tow. An employee is told by a woman that his job is to take care of her. A brand new, delicate work of art rests in the backyard. As he bids farewell to the kids, Evan explains that he wishes he could spend time at the beach with them but must instead focus on completing a crucial task. It starts to rain heavily in the evening. However, this merely serves to accentuate the hero's cozy office environment. In spite of Karen's urging, the man keeps working and even decides to take a break when he hears a peculiar sound and sees that someone is trying to get his attention. Upon opening the door, Evan is greeted by two attractive girls who inform him that they are in search of Gregory. The mysterious visitors beg the man for permission to enter his home and use his computer to look up their friend's address. Because Evan feels sorry for the girl, he lets the girls into the house. After granting them access to the tablet, the hero provides them with towels to keep warm. A girl introduces herself as Belle and explains why she thinks few people would welcome strangers during that risky period. Genesis, the second girl, claims that their cab driver mistook their address and dropped them off at the wrong location. In an effort to lend a hand, Evan calls a different cab, but the one he ordered won't show up for another 45 minutes. Meanwhile, Belle has worked up the nerve to whisper something to her friend, and she looks over at Evan every so often to see if he's paying attention. The girls beg the hero to please grant their final wish, to dry their clothes for 10 minutes so they won't be drenched when they arrive at the party. After agreeing, the man makes tea for his guests in the kitchen so they won't feel embarrassed. Once you've tossed the wet garments into the dryer. Peering into the living room, Evan enters. There he witnesses Belle dancing with his dog as Genesis frantically attempts to increase the mixer's volume. Having worked as a DJ in the past, Evan now admits that vinyl is his favorite music genre. After learning that Evan's wife was an artist, the girls start to open up to the hero about more explicit subjects. As Genesis begins to sing her praises, Belle mentions that she was born in Barcelona, just like Karen. Evan strikes up a conversation with the blonde in Spanish, admitting that he's far from fluent. The man, in contrast to his children, informs her about Karen's upcoming exhibit and shows her catalogs. Genesis wants to know if Evan has dated anyone else during his 14 years of marriage. In response to a negative response, Belle remarks, "That's very strange," pointing out that she has always anticipated men's reluctance to spend eternity by herself. The girls start touching Evan after they reveal they are flight attendants, but he quickly moves to a different chair. Genesis jogs her memory of the starfish in the office, a girl who does absolutely nothing while in bed but lie there. With a laugh, Bill explains that she wants him to be there for all of life's greatest moments. Therefore, she does not want to be a starfish. In terms of intimacy, the girls are in agreement that there are no limits. As soon as Genesis sees Evan's shame, she abruptly announces that she needs to use the restroom. Using this as an opportunity, Belle seductively requests that the hero play music while she dances. The girl opens up about how happy she is to finally meet Evan. Compared to the party, she feels considerably better when she's with him. As she dances with the hero, Belle claims that their meeting was predetermined. Evan steps back, observing the girl's growing persistence while simultaneously noting the arrival of a cab. As the man removes his garments from the dryer, he can make out the sound of happy voices coming from the nearby restroom. Beautiful women who have recently been freed approach the hero, inviting him to be closer while promising to keep it a secret. As the sun rises, Evan gives in and spends a lovely night with the lovely women. Whether or not what transpired to Evan was a dream remains a mystery to him. It wasn't until the hero saw a mountain of unread messages that he realized Genesis and their companion had indeed visited him in the middle of the night. What transpired was more than a sick dream. Even though he can't quite put his finger on it, Evan eventually makes his way to the kitchen, where he finds his friends happily indulging in their own brand of lunacy. Genesis adamantly states that she could never abandon Daddy without having breakfast, but the man expresses his wish that they had already departed. Evan takes Marty from the table and looks on in horror as the girls dive headfirst into the food, acting like wild animals. According to Genesis, they have decided to stay put and are enjoying their time here. Out of the blue, Evan's wife calls, and he dashes outside to take her call. Still, the fairies find a way to open it, and then they begin to yell out the hero's name and make a lot of noise. After wrapping up their conversation with Karen, Evan storms into the living room, irate over the prank, and sternly tells the girls to get dressed and leave his house. Despite this, Genesis and her friend dash upstairs in laughter, unfazed by the danger. Once they've had a chance to settle in. After making his way to the rooms, Evan finds that Belle is not there. The blonde is actually hiding in his shirt closet. When our hero attempts to open it, she should be rescued. As Belle begins to nag at him, she whispers softly about how much she loves him. The girl is dragged to the Genesis room by an enraged Seven, who gives her 3 minutes to change clothes before promising to wait for them downstairs. The beauty, however, remains absent even after the allotted time has passed. While investigating their whereabouts, our hero spots Genesis and Belle creating an artwork depicting his spouse. Hearing that they were motivated by the night before makes Evan very angry. While the man contacts the authorities, Belle and Genesis simply chuckle and insist that they have something to report. The girls are underage, which Evan finds out when he asks what they mean. In an effort to put a final chapter to the story, the hero offers them money. However, the girls are only upset by such an offer. The door is suddenly pounded by Vivian. Karen requested that the masseurs examine Evan's shoulder. Claiming he doesn't require any additional assistance, the man attempts to accompany the woman out the door. Just then, Genesis materializes and gently brushes against Evan's shoulder. In her mind, Vivian tells the hero judge that she was surprised he would do that. Re-entering the living room, an enraged Evan observes Genesis dancing on the bed and Belle playing in a mixture. As the man pursues the girls, he violently shoves Genesis against the wall and chases them around the room. Despite this, the hero eventually gets a clue and decides to dial 911. The con works, and Genesis ends up not picking up the phone when her friend offers to give her a ride home. Like you, Evan is hoping the scary story ends here. The girls tenderly bid farewell to the hero. But instead of going inside, they head in a different direction. In the meantime, Evan gets back to his house and tries to tidy up so that he doesn't draw suspicion from Karen and the kids. After the man finishes cleaning, he returns to his work, but something out of the ordinary keeps rattling around in the hall. He passes out after seeing a shattered photo of his loved ones. Devastated by Genesis. As soon as he opens his eyes, the man sees that he is bound and gagged in his bedroom. Belle, dressed as Lisa for school, bursts onto the scene and begins tormenting the hero, claiming he is her biological father. Then out of nowhere, Karen calls, and Evan still won't play their games. The hero declares his readiness for anything, as long as Genesis does not answer the phone, as he notices that she is about to do so. The girl then suggests he play with Belle again, just like last night, and she films the entire thing. Eventually, Evan gets the upper hand and pushes the blonde away from him. Genesis is his next target. The man is taken aback by the girl's sudden reaction. Upon awakening, Evan standing, he becomes aware that he is bound to a chair. During one of the quizzes, Genesis and Belle administer the man a series of questions pertaining to playing with children. The doorbell rings, much to Lewis's surprise. The girls decide to play the part of his nieces and cover Evan's mouth to avoid suspicion. When Louis gets there, he sees the sculpture in a disturbed state. After suspecting the girls may have been involved, the man decides to contact the authorities to uncover the truth. Following his friend's release, Louis discovers an eerie sound and discovers Evan bound and gagged. As the guy investigates the source of the strange sound, he sees the girls destroying his sculpture. Genesis tries to take the inhaler from Louis after he has an asthma attack at the site. After tripping, the man hits his head rather hard. Belle should feel sorry for Louis, Evan implores her, and she should dial 911. Genesis, though, tells him that he's hopeless. In order to make Evan look like the one who discovered Kieran's infidelity, the girls fabricate a sculpture of Louis and orchestrate the whole thing. Returning to the test, Genesis says a man is a bad parent if he loves his wife and children. How could he have betrayed them in his lust and weakness? The most severe penalty imaginable is meted out to Evan by Genesis. Because the girls took advantage of him by pleading with him to take them, the man becomes angry and yells out that he was only trying to help them. How then was he at fault? Nevertheless, Genesis cautions him against wasting his final hours with baseless accusations that will lead nowhere. While Evan looks on, the girls smash up Karen's sculptures after digging a hole in the backyard. Genesis and Belle smash everything in the man's house as they obliterate it. Evan is taken aback when the girls discover a weapon all of a sudden. As the hero, Genesis orders Belle to step aside and aims the gun at him. The young lady proposes playing hide and seek. Before the sun comes up, they will depart if they have not located the man. Even though he tries, Evan is unable to escape the house. The girls lower the bound man into the pit as soon as it is light, leaving only his head above ground. After the hero gains the ability to speak, Genesis chooses to remove the gag from him. If he has to do anything to stay alive, Evan says he will. Gen X decides to put him to the test. And proposes calling his wife to tell her everything. Nevertheless, the man implores Karen to contact the authorities rather than admitting guilt. The girl saw through his ruse and dialed the answering machine because she expected that result. Just as Genesis is about to place a stone sculpture on top of Evan's head, he accidentally drops it. The girls assure him it was all in good fun, and that no man, no matter how much he loves his family, has ever rejected them. Genesis makes sure the man doesn't get bored waiting for his wife to return home by posting a video of Belle and Evan's fun on his page before she leaves. The video even includes a last song. Jack sees that his dad had a nice party, and Karen is horrified. The film has come to a close. We appreciate you sticking around to the very end of this video. Leave a comment saying you liked this video. See you in future videos and share your thoughts on this film.